Alright guys, welcome to this new episode of the Hunter Guide series. A lot of people have been asking for it and I know I'm a bit late, but it's finally Chas' turn. I'm gonna go over everything, how to build her, how to use her, and where you can use her and where she's good at. So yeah, as always, if you enjoy my content and wish to support me, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. We're getting close to the 2000 subs. You can also support me on the Netmarble creator program. I'll leave the link in the description down below. Thank you guys a lot. Let's get into it. So, Hae-In is the latest hunter to release. She's a light DPS and currently and by far the best hunter you can get. She's very good in any situation, pretty much. Her insanely high damage output makes her a must-have in any fight, if I'm being honest. You better dodge all the attacks though, because if you get hit too much, you won't be able to survive the attacks since her defense and HP are very low. But overall, she's the current GOAT of the game, really. And you should definitely go for her if you can. So let's talk about skills now. Her basic attack, just damage, pretty decent. High damage output though. Core attack, same as the basic attack, no effects, but high damage. And we get into the interesting stuff now. The Dancer deals light elemental damage. When the user lands a critical hit, it applies the Waltz of the Sword effect. When the skill is used, it applies the Dancer effect. So, Waltz of the Sword, the Dancer can be used an infinite number of times while the effect is active. So, pretty much, once you crit, you can just spam the skill over and over again. It just deals super high damage. And also, each time you use it, it increases the user's attack and critical hit damage by 8%, stacking up to 3 times. So, let's say you use the Dancer the first time, you get 8% attack and critical hit damage, but also you get Waltz of the Sword if you crit, which you most likely will, and so you can spam it again and get more stacks, right? Sword of Light, insane damage. Insane damage. Damage to targets inflicted with the brand effect is increased by 15%. We'll see the brand effect right after. And also applies the unrecoverable effect to the target when this skill hits. So pretty much what it does is for 30 seconds, targets are unable to recover HP. So it's very good for the spider, for example, right? And for the support skill, light damage, knocks down the target, applies unrecoverable and brand effects. So again, unable to recover HP for 30 seconds, and also increase the critical hit rate and critical hit damage by 12% to targets hit by this skill. So pretty much once you get hit by this skill, for 15 seconds, you take 12 more percent crit damage and you have 12 more percent chances of getting crit. The QTE skill also applies brand effect, so it's the same thing. The targets hit by this skill have damage they take from critical hit and their chances of receiving critical hit damage increased by 12%. And finally, the ult, the hardest hitting ult of the game right now. I remember yesterday I hit for like 17 million on the ult. That was just crazy. So when attacking a branded target, damage is increased by 30%. So let's get into the passive now. It's pretty short, but it's really effective. When the Dancer hits, the user has 66% to brand the target. So not only through the QT or the support skill, you can also brand through the Dancer skill. So pretty much you're always going to brand the enemy. The first dupe, the Dancer effect can now stack up to 5 times. So 8% times 5. So that's 30% attack and 30% crit damage, which is just insane. Second dupe is pretty insane too. Increase the user's critical hit rate by 16%, so more chance to crit. Pretty nice. Third dupe, when attacking a branded target, increase the skill damage of the Dancer and Sword of Light by 50%. With that dupe, she just becomes stupidly OP. Like, you just get so much more damage out of your skills. It's stupid. Fourth dupe, the user's critical hit damage increases, this time by 16%. And finally, the fifth one, the damage of Light of the End, so the ult, is increased by 20% depending on how many instances of the Dancer effect the user has applied, stacking up to 5 times. So pretty much you want to use the ult right after using the Dancer. And what it's going to do is that you're going to get up to 100% more damage on the ult. So you get 30% if the enemy is branded, and then you get on top of that another 100% if you have 5 Dancer stacks. That's how her ult just hits like a truck. For the skill upgrades, I would upgrade the ult, obviously, because really high damage. I would upgrade the Dancer, and then lastly I would upgrade Sword of Light. After those, I think you can go for the core attack, and then the QT skill, and then lastly you can do basic attacks. It's a pretty classic way to upgrade your skills, ult and then the 2 basic skills, just like most of the other hunters, but that's gonna be the best thing to do here. So moving on to the weapons, I'm not gonna present a lot of other alternatives since her weapon is given twice for free, so I'm gonna assume everyone has it, right? So increase the user's basic skill damage by 20%. When the user uses a basic skill, increase the critical hit damage by 8% for 12 seconds, stacking up to 6 times. So you just get way more damage out of your basic skills, and whenever you hit with your basic skill. It also increases your critical hit damage. It's probably one of the best hunter weapons alongside Sails. Honestly, it's crazy good. And if you don't have it for some reason, I would use the bow for extra critical hit damage and also extra attack. But that's the only thing I would use outside of her weapon. But realistically, everyone has her weapon, so. And if you don't have it, craft it as soon as possible. So moving on to the artifacts, I know some people are gonna disagree with me, but I'll explain to you guys. First, for the armor, toughness, there's no debate here. Black Lion set is not good, it's just toughness, or honestly. For the boots, you want critical hit damage on the main stat. For the substats, you want as much attack and critical hit rate as you can. For critical hit rate, as long as you have +4 of it, it should be enough. Like here, you see I have +3, here I have +1, so that's +4 in total. And I should be at 50%. And then you want as much as attack as you can. And of course, for the boots, you want critical hit damage. And for the jewelry set, which is where it gets complicated, I guess, is I'm running the champion on the field set. The user's attack increased by 5%, stacking up to 4 times when you have the 4 set effects. So pretty much it's 20% more attack whenever you crit, right? So as long as you crit, you'll keep that 20% attack boost, and realistically with Cha, you're just gonna spam the dancer, you're gonna crit every time, then you're gonna ult, have 20% more attack, and just shred the boss, right? So that's what I'm running. You can also run the very distant set, which is also really good. The damage is similar, so just run the set that has the best substats for you. I have better substat with my champion on the field set. As you can see here, I have +3 on crit damage, for example. But what concentration of firepower does is you get 18% less cooldowns on your skills, but you also have 20% more mana consumption, right? But on Cha, it's not that much of a problem. And you also get an 18% more damage on all your skills. It's relatively similar, but I went for champion since I had better gear on champion. But you could argue and go with concentration if you have more, like, better gear on concentration, right? And for the substats, as I said, you want critical hit damage. On the bracelet, you want light damage. And then same as the armor, you want attack, damage increase, death pen. Like, you want all the offensive stats pretty much. And that's it for the presentation. So now let's get into the gameplay. Alright, so I figured I would do the gameplay against an actual boss. So I'm gonna do a gate boss, right? So I'm gonna skip the first 2 phases and get you guys back against the boss. Alright, so I'm gonna break the boss with Emma and Bike, and then we'll see how Che does. Alright, so and yeah, it's that easy. So as you can see, she's broken, and they really fucked up with that character. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay and the presentation. If you did, like and subscribe like always, and I'll see you guys in my next one. See ya.